contrasting styles of these two teams are what's going to make this game fun.
And they've had some excellent games. I mean, some of the really close and tight fought games between these two teams.
This is going to be a fun one here this afternoon. Derrick, bring it down the house! Great ball movement from the Lady Panther.
Yeah, that was nice.
Rivaldo can just do so many things. It's so athletic.
You mentioned earlier in the game, Pat, how you really like this freshman. I can see why.
The Brighton Bengals
Are the Division II state champions.
Hello, Boston, and welcome to the Bayrd Natatorium in Malden, home of the Mystic Valley Eagles, for a matchup in the Boys North Division IV sectional semifinals as the Fenway Panthers are taking on the top-seeded Pope John Tigers. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. Alan, we're at the semifinals section of the MIA state tournament here in a particular bracket, and this is when some of those top seeds start to meet each other. This is when the sort of the cream of the crop starts to match up in the state tournament.
Well, like you said, the cream of the crop, you're talking about a Pope John team coming in at 19-1. Ironically, their only loss was to a city team.
That's right.
But on top of the world, they're feeling good. This is actually, I can't say it's a home game, but it's very close. Everett in Malden. So it's one of those situations where you're sort of halfway through. You got to win 6 games to win the entire thing. Okay, so this is the third game for both these teams, and we know Fenway. We had them earlier this season. Fast team, a little bit of height, but this Pope John team is very big.
No question. They got a lot of big guys, but their best player is probably at the point guard spot. That's Angel Price Espada. He's one of the players that we're going to look out for tonight, and he had a nice game in the opening round game against Winthrop, and also eclipsed the 1,000-point mark as a junior.
But also his history is more interesting. He came from St. Clement. St. Clement closed last spring actually, and there were a few players along with Espada who came over to Pope John, and a lot of times that kind of mixture doesn't really work. But for some reason, the first-year head coach was able to get this going, and they, like I said, 19-1.
That's right. Leo Boucher, the head coach for Pope John, was the head coach last year at St. Clement, so he was able to mesh all this together, and now they've got a one-loss record here in 2018. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Fenway Panthers, as you mentioned, we saw them earlier in the season. The team has regained their top scorer, but the guy who's been the stalwart on this team has been their point guard, Devontae Sweatman. He's our spotlight player.
Sweatman, very consistent. When if you've never seen him before, your first impression is going to be, wow, he's a little undersized, but he uses that size with his quickness, his speed overall, and very good basketball instincts. I mean, the one thing that his coach, Bruce DeSilva, wanted to see is a little more consistency on his outside jump shot, but you saw those shots. That's the game against Cass that we did earlier in the season. His speed and his like I said, his anticipation to get steals defensively really are a major part of this Fenway offense.
No question, and Sweatman always moving around. He's got so much energy, both offensively and defensively. I think he's an underrated defensive player for this Fenway.
Right, because of his size. I mean, I tell you, a lot of people who play against him for the first time underestimate him because he's slight, but that quickness is a major weapon for him.
Without question, he had 17 points in the opening round game against Matignon, and I'm sure Coach DeSilva is hoping that he has a repeat performance here tonight against the Pope John Tigers. Now, for more on this game, we're going to go to our sideline reporter, John Skudras, who's got an update for us. John, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. What a wild ride it's been for the Pope John Tigers. 19 consecutive wins following a 1-1 start, but an even more wild roller coaster ride of a calendar year for head coach Leo Boucher. Just a year ago, he was the head skipper at St. Clement High School, but when that school shuttered its doors last summer, he was unsure if his coaching career would continue at all. After discussing it with his family, Coach Boucher decided to give it one more try here at Pope John. And I think it was a good decision. A 20-1 record, 2 victories away from the Final Four in the state playoffs. And a large reason for that success are the players he brought over from St. Clement. Both Angel, Price, Espada, and Michael Thompson have been outstanding all campaign long. The latter, Michael Thompson, was outstanding in the postseason in a 4-point victory over Winthrop and put on a bit of a show in pregame with some dunks and beautiful dribble moves in front of the hometown crowd. Now, as for Fenway, the name of the game is going to be getting an early lead. They have struggled against adversity when falling behind early, as the Panthers, with their full-court pressure defense, have not been able to employ that tactic as well as they would have liked when they're falling behind. For them, keep an eye on Devontae Sweatman, one of the fantastic young point guards in the state. Sweatman is a facilitator and an all-around team player, and as he goes, so go the Fenway Panthers. If they're going to come away with an upset victory today, they are going to need a beautiful performance from Devontae Sweatman. That'll do it from courtside. Back to you.
Thanks very much, John, and certainly the point guard matchup's going to be fun to watch tonight. You mentioned Pope John's big, but Fenway's quick, so contrasting styles seem to often make very good matchups. It's the Fenway Panthers taking on the Pope John Tigers in the Boys North Division 4 sectional semifinals here at Mystic Valley. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the opening tap right after these words. Don't go away.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can
get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back to Bayrd Natatorium in Malden, home of the Mystic Valley Eagles. We're just about set to go here at the Boys North Division 4 sectional semifinals. We're going to give you the starting lineups. First up, it's the Fenway Panthers. Sweatman Cuevas, who's now back on the starting lineup for Fenway. He was out for a few games in the middle of the season. Barbosa, Francis, and Jackson. Meanwhile, for Pope John, it's Price Espada, Collins, Thompson, Velasquez, and Boyer for the Tigers. Pope John controls the opening tap. They get it to Thompson quickly, and that's probably the fastest basket I've ever seen in high school basketball.
Well, they assumed winning the tap, and they had a nice split cut to the basket, easy hoop to start the game.
Francis trying to duck it inside to Jackson. Ball poked away by the Tigers.
I think one of the problems early on, possible problem for the Fenway Panthers in black, just that the whole idea that they're playing a team that's won 19 games and only lost one.
Price Espada, no good on the three. Sweatman lets it go out of bounds. Coach De Silva, when the brackets came out, he knew Pope John was going to be that tough team in this bracket.
He had a chance to see them a couple of times this year, and his impression was they're just so big.
Cuevas with the acrobatic shot high off the glass. And Makai Collins now going to slow it up for the Tigers.
The Fenway playing straight man-to-man.
Good feed inside to Boyer with the easy bucket.
Like a 2-3 matchup zone for Pope John.
Sweatman inside, then to Francis. Basket no good. Tap in no good. Boyer comes away with a rebound for the Tigers. Thompson gets it poked away by Cuevas. Melvin Cuevas puts it in over the top for Fenway's first bucket.
You mentioned in the open, Pat, that he's back. He's a leading scorer when he went out for, I think, missed 3 or 4 games.
Velasquez now inside to Boyer. And that's poked away. It'll stay with Pope John.
The quick hands that time by Barbosa for Fenway.
Inside to Boyer. That time he got fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line.
I'd say a good interior passing by Pope John. It's the 3rd time already here in the opening few minutes. Very unselfish. Good job to get a hand on the ball, but also a foul.
Marcus Boyer is senior captain. He's actually from Dorchester.
I'd say this Pope John team is it's like a regional team. If you look at where they're from, Somerville, Chelsea, Cambridge, Malden, Medford, Dorchester, Roxbury, Everett.
You got a Charlestown at the very end as
exactly.
well.
Right.
And Coach Boucher is from Charlestown.
He's been around a long time. He was at St. Clement for a while, and before that, he was at other high school programs. So, veteran coach, and he has to be thrilled the way that these things have worked out. Matter of fact, one of the St. Clement's kids is one of the captains. Which, not only do you come over as a senior, but you make enough of an impression with the other teammates to be a captain.
Yeah, it was nice having those 3 guys come over here to Pope John, which was already a good program before any of those guys got there. That's a travel on Thompson after the Keon Jackson make down the other end. So now Fenway down by 1. Starting to get going here in the first quarter. Coach De Silva mentioned that he does not want his teams to get off to the slow starts that they've been so accustomed to doing for most of this season.
That's a challenge.
Cuevas rattles home the 3, and Fenway's got a 2-point lead here early on.
Cuevas is a difference maker. We talked about Sweatman. That's a travel there.
Inside of Boyer, a nice block by Francis, and that'll stay with the Tigers.
Yeah, see, Fenway wants to speed things. They want to speed Pope John up a little bit. Meanwhile, Pope John, with the clear size advantage inside, wants to go into the post.
Almost a steal by Cuevas. Thompson cannot rattle home the mid-range jumper. Sweatman gets his pass stolen away. Now it's Price Espada out to Collins. Angel Price Espada short on that 3. Here comes Cuevas. He's got Sweatman on the other end. Sweatman reverse lay-in is good.
Sweatman saw that Thompson was trying to measure him for that block shot, so it went up and under the hoop.
Inside to Boyer for the easy bucket.
See, that weak side defense for Fenway's got to be alert to not overcommit. Second time we've seen Boyer able to get that easy layup inside.
That breaks a 7-0 run by the Panthers. And Francis lost it inside. Now it's Collins trying to get it up to Price Espada, who gets it poked away by Cuevas, but Angel stays with it.
Yeah, the sophomore Francis has got to keep his head in the game. After the ball was knocked away, he just sort of stood there waiting for something to happen. He's got to remember that until a whistle blows, action keeps going.
We're tied up at 9 here, just past the midway point of the first quarter. And Barbosa can't hang on to it.
Little nerves. Like you said, Pat, this is the 3rd round, basically, so you're talking about playing a very top-notch team on both ends. I mean, Fenway's, 16-5, but still, Pope John has a lot of respect for their quickness and the way they can score.
Velasquez gets it knocked away. Jackson now up to Barbosa. And Damian gets his shot swatted inside. Jackson now with a runner. 2-on-1 for the Tigers as Velasquez gets the basket And the foul.
The key to Pope John so far in these first few minutes is the big fellas are running the floor. Leadership running the floor, taking the foul, but also getting the layup.
Substitution for Fenway. Sweatman takes a seat as Elian Santana comes in for the Panthers. Velasquez, a junior out of Chelsea. Knocks down the first. Velasquez will now take a seat for the Tigers as Cam Erickson will come in.
Huge fan base here for Pope John. Like I mentioned, Pope John's over in Everett, which is only one town over. It's always easy to support a winner. They've seen these kids win 19 games.
Cuevas no good on the deep three. Thompson on the drive, finishes off the window.
Yeah, the man-to-man defense is really playing into the hands of Pope John so far.
And another turnover for Fenway. Thompson again, finishing beautifully. So after Fenway goes on a 9-0 run, it's now Pope John on an 11-0 run. They're now up 7.
Wow.
We got a foul on the floor.
I think the hoop's good. No basket. Okay. Watch this drive.
That's Santana.
The hit right there. Actually, that could have been a and one.
Yeah, that should have been some type of continuation. You see Bruce De Silva in his second season as the head coach of the Fenway Panthers.
He was with O'Brien for a few years as an assistant coach. Before that, he was very active in the middle school program, coaching both basketball and football.
Fenway having a tough time getting the ball in. Finally, it's Sweatman who comes down with it. Devontae, pull-up jumper. Thompson with the rebound for Pope John. And Santana's whistle for the hold out on the perimeter.
Yeah, what Fenway wants to do is force Pope John to get the ball on the sideline and the corner where they can trap. So far, they've only had one successful one.
Trying to feed it inside to Boyer. Price a spot off the spin move.
Can you imagine having a kid transfer in with that kind of scoring talent?
No question.
Then couple him with the big fella Thompson.
Deep three for Cuevas, and that's well off the mark. Goes out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Pope John Tigers. I thought there was a chance they might have touched it, but it does go back to Pope John.
Yeah, a little confusion on the Fenway side. They thought they had the ball too. But so far, the play inside offensively for Pope John, the way they're moving so well, finding the open play, very unselfish team.
Deep three, no good that time as Cuevas gets the rebound, but he was stepping out of bounds. Thompson coming back in for the Tigers.
There's one of those games where things are going bad for Fenway right now. A 13-0 run for Pope John. One of their guys, either Sweatman or Cuevas, is going to have to get going, put a couple of hoops together to get the team back in the game.
Cuevas almost lost that pass. Now it's over to Barbosa. Sweatman.
Yeah, so they're being a little careless with the ball right now.
Santana, and looks like Collins is whistled for the foul.
A little tripping foul there. Well, Santana was trying to split the double team.
Velasquez coming back in as Erickson heads to the bench. 48 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. There you see Coach Boucher. 9-point lead for the Pope John Tigers. Santana inside. Getting fouled on his way to the basket was Cornell Mills, the senior power forward.
Yeah, Fenway likes that high-low entry pass. It's the first time they got it in there cleanly. A couple of times earlier in the game with Francis, the sophomore, the pass just didn't connect. So Francis is taking a break.
Fenway with their first trip at the free throw line. Mills missing the first. Able to knock down the second.
Breaks some long scoring drought for Fenway.
Thompson to Boyer. Another easy layup for the senior center.
I tell you, the way Boyer moves his feet is really impressive for his size.
Boyer now leads all scorers with 7 points for the Tigers. Sweatman with the elbow jumper sinks it for the Panthers. Thompson again inside, and that's time they're going to call an offensive foul.
Good job that time by Octavius Nunes to stand his ground in the lane, take that contact.
11 seconds left to go here in the quarter. Fenway now with a chance to possibly cut this lead down to 6 or even 5.
Well, the elbow jumper's going to be there. The way they're seeing paper, well, they're just going to a 2-3 now to try to cover that up.
There's that elbow jumper again. That time it's off the back iron. And that is going to do it for the first quarter here at Mystic Valley. The Pope John Tigers lead the Fenway Panthers 20-12. Devontae Sweatman keeping his guys in it with that silky smooth jumper. We'll be right back in the second quarter after this.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
Welcome back to Bayrd Natatorium in Malden for the boys North Division 4 sectional semifinals. Pope John with an 8-point lead, and our sideline reporter John Scudris has got a special guest with him. John, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Inauspicious beginnings here for Fenway. One way for them to get back into this game, maybe to utilize the shooting ability of Melvin Cuevas. He's more of a streaky shooter than a sharp shooter, but he did have multiple 20-point performances this season. And in one game against Millis, 4 3-pointers in 60 seconds. I've never done that. He has. Back to you.
Thanks very much, John. Cuevas can certainly bore him in, and there you see another good shooter as Damian Barbosa finally gets going.
Well, you had made the point earlier, Pat, that while they were missing a couple of players, Fenway, Barbosa actually took over some of the scoring. It's going to be a foul. That's the foul on
that's on Cuevas. That might be his second.
Right. That's the kind of call Fenway can't afford to have because they live off their defense up top. If that quickness is not going to be allowed to get those steals, it could be a rough night for Fenway.
Just the first foul there on Melvin Cuevas. And some miscommunication between Collins and Erickson, so Fenway will get it back. Try to again cut into this lead now at just 5.
Not unusual for Pope John, just an unforced turnover. They're playing a 2-3. It's like a matchup zone there. They're taking away the passing lanes. Good steal there.
Bryce Espada laying no good. Boyer there for the putback.
Yeah, Fenway's just having a tough time putting a body on Boyer.
Inside to Francis. He's unable to gather. Price's Spada out on the break. His footwork is just so good.
It's not. He can score, like you said. He can score in many ways. We saw him hit a jumper earlier. He's gone to the basket 3 or 4 times, and there's no question he's their main scorer, and his teammates look for him. It's very simple. And when a scorer knows he's going to get the ball, like you said, nice spin move there, split the defense, bank it home.
So now a 9-point lead for Pope John here with just a minute gone by in the second quarter. And if you're Fenway, offensively, they just seem stagnant. They don't really know what they're trying to do.
What's happening, it seems to me from looking at it from the distance, is that because Pope John is so big, it seems like Fenway thinks they can get their regular bounce passes into the middle. Hasn't happened. 3 or 4 steals by Pope John's because the big guys are being active, using their long arms, getting deflections. Meanwhile, the guards take off and run. And Pope John's has more fast break points than Fenway does, which is not what we expected.
Sure.
In the open, when you talked about a contrast in styles, it's a total contrast. Okay, and what I mean is that the speed and quickness of Fenway, that's the only way they're going to win this, because they can't match up with the size. That's the problem Fenway's having right now.
Right. We mentioned offensively too that their strength is in their backcourt with Cuevas, Sweatman, and Barbosa. And once again, Fenway unable to score inside. That was Francis on the attempt. And Price Espada is going to give it right back after trying to fire a pass inside.
Fast pass, that's the official. He's not going to shoot. Now, Fenway's going to probably have to work the wings a little better because they've got very little out of going to the middle. So Barbosa can shoot, but he's got to step into shooting range. So you're seeing some indecision on Fenway.
Sweatman, no good on the pull-up. Rebound from Francis. His putback's no good. Sweatman putback, no good. Cuevas coming down with it. His putback is good.
Yes, was that 4 opportunities that time. Steal by Barbosa.
Firing up a 3, and he's off the mark. That'll stay with the Panthers.
Yeah, Barbosa saying his fault. He knows it because they had a 3-on-1. He fired up a 3-pointer. Sometimes you get a little excited when you get a steal.
Inside to Francis, couldn't quite hang on to the pass.
Francis is having a very tough first half.
I don't know how that one just went in from Angel Price Espada.
Again, he knows how to use angles. He spins the ball. That's a tough turnaround for Fenway. They're down 9 again, whereas the entry pass was good enough. They could have scored and cut it to 5.
Price Espada now with 8 points for the Pope John Tigers. Nice drop down pass, basket in the foul for Francis off the feed from Sweatman.
Maybe they'll get him going. You might get him going. He's only a sophomore, but in tonight's matchup, they're going to need his size. Beautiful bounce pass. He actually lost his balance, but was able to recover and bank it home. Matter of fact, Brewster Silva was just about to pull him out of the game before that hoop, so we'll see if they let him stay in.
Jaya Francis looking to complete the 3-point play, and he does. That's the lead back down to 6. Another steal for Barbosa. Kicks it to the corner. Sweatman for 3 off the mark. Price Espada step back through.
That was deep. Deep wing.
No hesitation from him.
None at all. Well, that's confidence.
Cuevas on the drive inside to Francis. Again, he can't hang on to the pass. And Coach Boucher wants a timeout here with 5:02 left to go in the second quarter. Pope John Tigers on top 29-20.
Well, we've seen Pope John pretty much do everything they want offensively, mainly with Espada going to the basket, but he just hit that real deep 3. Just that last hoop by Fenway, as Francis was able to regain his balance long enough to bank it home.
Folks, if you enjoy Game of the Week and you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly search for us on Facebook. Search for Game of the Week in Boston. A lot of good stuff up on our Facebook page, different videos, different information about what games we're going to be covering for the rest of the season. Make sure you visit that. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We see Francis having mixed results down low. Keon Jackson's been sitting for a while. He's their big center. As a junior for Fenway, I'm guessing he's in foul trouble. I didn't quite see how many he has.
I think he has two. But that's a key. You're right, because he's the only real solid big man that they have with any real experience.
Bryce Espada got his shot blocked that time.
Good job by Cuevas.
Sweatman's got an opening. Layup no good there from Devontae.
Those are shots Sweatman usually is used to making.
Bryce Espada lays it down beautifully to Velasquez. Fenway fans want an offensive foul, but they didn't get it.
The Wings have got to step into shooting range.
Sweatman on the drive, but it just doesn't fall for him.
Bad luck on that one.
That hit every part of the rim. Collins gets it stolen away by Cuevas. Melvin Cuevas trying to go coast to coast. Collins to Thompson.
The big fellas, I'm surprised to see it, but the Pope John big guys are out running Fenway.
Collins trying to get the steal, but he stepped out of bounds. Trying to add to Pope John's biggest lead of the game, which is right now at 13.
Yeah, you gotta bring Jackson back. Can't wait any longer.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when do you bring him back in, even with the two
down
fouls?
13, you got to come back. I mean, the problem is they're playing man, which a little risky. I think there's Bruce De Silva, and like he was telling me before the game, we're just going to go man because you can't really zone it because the team shoots so well. Pope John.
Skip it over to Santana. Sweatman inside
nice
Jackson.
Job. Good job.
Basket and one.
Patience. That's one of the few times in this first half we've seen Fenway really be patient in the half-court offense. Good inside pass. Watch this. And Jackson just freshly off the bench. He used that length of his to power it up.
Keon no good on the free throw. Still an 11-point lead for Pope John. Keon Jackson with another foul.
Let's see if that is. Yeah,
that's
he has
the
to come out now.
Personal on Keon Jackson. So Cornell Mills back in for the Fenway Panthers. Mills knocking away the steal. Here comes Sweatman. He's got Santana to his right. Devontae banks it off the window. Quickly down the other end goes Pope John. Erickson can't get that one to go. And then Cuevas is going to be whistled for the reach-in.
Wow. Fenway's really mounting up this foul trouble. Key guys. You're talking about, okay, now Cuevas has to come out. You got Cuevas and Jackson on the bench when you're down 9 trying to get back in the game.
Jonathan Barnes now in for Fenway for the first time. Almost, that is a steal for Barbosa. Up to Sweatman, Devontae. And that's going to be whistled
on Sweatman. Yep. So each team has had a play control foul called on a drive. I mean, the most disappointing part of this first half for Fenway's got to be they've gotten steals, which they're used to doing. That's how they turn the pace up. They've gotten very few points out of the steals when they turn them around. There's Sweatman. They're similar to the call that was called earlier against Pope John. I mean, those are always iffy calls, really subjective. But
yeah, that was a nice play by Collins. I didn't think he actually got there, but he got there with about a second or two before Sweatman hit him. 9-point lead for the Tigers. And that's going to be another turnover for Pope John, so I got to go back to Fenway.
So the Panthers are working hard defensively, but again, they're just not able to convert much on the offensive end after a steal. Barbosa's got to step in. Step in right there. There you go.
Barbosa, deep three off the back iron. Erickson with the rebound. Collins to Velasquez.
Yeah, it's just a couple of the bench guys for Fenway just losing track of the baseline. And Pope John, they're really, it's hard to believe that they actually added 3 new players and they're playing this well together. It's going to be a reach in there. Well, you mentioned this. A veteran coach, been around high school ball for many years. Very good programs. Coach of the Year, 3 times? Yeah,
that's right. I'd say
Coach of the Year 3 times. Yeah.
Was he at Cathedral before?
He was at Cathedral and then Columbus. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
He's had a very successful run over the past 2 decades. Devontae Sweatman now at the free throw line. Shooting a 1-on-1, knocks down the first. Fenway now 3 for 5 from the charity stripe. We talk about Coach Boucher. Even he said, I don't know how this is all going to come together. It's a weird situation.
We've seen those situations not work out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the case.
Because some of those kids are starting at a brand new school as Sweatman knocks down the second. And, if you're one of these players, you're saying, my school just closed. I mean, that's got to be a weird feeling. Oh, Boyer wide open underneath for the Tigers.
Yeah, the problem is that with Fenway, when they get behind, they've been behind a lot this season, but when they get behind, they can usually depend on their starters to help bring them back. But right now, you got 2 of the starters on the bench.
Devontae, again, no good on that jumper. And that is going to go back to Fenway. It's a good pressure from Devontae Sweatman and
nice double
Santana.
Team. Yeah, exactly. Santana actually created that steal with the double team. The problem that the Cuevas and Jackson being on the bench with foul trouble is it's really making it extremely difficult for Fenway to try to make a comeback. They get rid of the ball.
Banks inside, and now it's didn't quite see who got the ball. It was Cornell Mills who got fouled underneath, so he'll be shooting the 1-on-1.
Watch, nice pass inside. There's Cornell.
Well, Cornell's going to be shooting 2.
Got hit by Boyer. Again, you'll see that nice pass inside. Boyer with the hit.
And Mills knocks 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. Cornell now going to take a seat. Coming in for the Panthers is Octavius News.
See, News is going to be forced to play one of the big guys, even though he's sort of an undersized forward. You got turnover? Yeah, ball goes back to Fenway.
News inside,
by
scores.
News. Right off the bench, makes a quick hoop.
Back to an 8-point lead for Pope John, and how quickly that goes back to a double-digit 10-point lead off the drive from Collins.
That's one of the few times you'll see Sweatman be beaten just by size. Swing, yeah.
Sweatman, turnaround jumper. I don't even know if Devontae saw the rim that time.
I'll tell you, Nunes brought some energy.
So Nunes will be heading to the charity stripe.
Let's watch this action. Nunes, number 11 in black. You see, double team there, was able to get it. They control the ball and squeeze a shot up.
noon's no good on the first. Carries the second.
Straight man-to-man, full-court pressure.
40 seconds left to go here before halftime, and another zipped pass by Bryce Espada.
But again, he was wide open. I mean, this penetration and dish down low has just been amazing. It's easy to see how they're 19-1. I'll put it that way.
No question. Drive again from Nunez.
Seems like his length, he's not tall, but he has those long arms. That's enabling him to get these shots off.
Got it down to 7, 15 seconds left. That's a steal by Damian Barbosa. Back down the other end, he scores the layup. 5-point lead now for Pope John. We'll see if the Tigers can capitalize. And getting fouled on his way to the paint was Makai Collins. So
yeah, should be on
shooting a 1-on-1.
Watch this action, 30 right there, a little bump.
Yeah, it's definitely on the floor. Collins does not hit the first. And that is going to do it for the first half
Nice
here in
run.
Malden.
Yeah, nice little run at the end there for Fenway to make them feel like they're back in it, just down 5.
So the Panthers trailed 39-34 to Pope John here at halftime of the Boys North Division 4 sectional semifinals. And, you know, we saw Pope John offensively pretty much almost do whatever they want. I mean, there was a little bit of pressure.
I mean, you got the big guys with good hands. You get any kind of penetration past the foul line, dish down, easy layup, easy layup. That's how the first quarter started. And then the second quarter, right before that little run at the end there by Fenway, you had Pope John with a 13-point lead. So they're doing what they want to do.
No question. The head coach of the Fenway Panthers, Bruce DeSilva, is with our sideline reporter, John Scudras. So, John, take it away.
Here with Coach DeSilva for the Fenway Panthers. And, Coach, got a little ugly early on in that first half, but you guys have pulled it down to a 5-point game at the half. What'd you like out there from your team?
I like the intensity. We're still playing hard. Just got to do a better job of stepping in, take more charges, and we got to finish. We got to finish on the other end.
Absolutely. Offensively, you guys seem to have a little trouble with their zone defense early on. A little better here in the second quarter. Did you like what you saw in the second quarter, or any adjustments still need to be made?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job of taking away the outside with their defense. So we're just trying to attack the gaps a little bit better.
What is your
ball and attack the gaps a lot better?
What does your team need to do in the second half other than attacking the gaps to win this game?
Well, we need to play better defense. We got to start taking some more charge and rebound and get second chance shots on us a lot.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thank you. All right.
It's Coach Bruce DeSilva, his team narrowing what was a double-digit deficit down to 5, 39-34 at halftime. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, John. And we knew Fenway was going to be flying around in this game. They always play hard, especially for Coach DeSilva. Sweatman's always seems to be everywhere. But you know, when you're undersized, what can you do better to prevent teams like Pope John to get those offensive rebounds?
What Bruce DeSilva started in man, but he told his kids, listen, when the ball goes to the corner, we got to double to take away the entry pass to the middle. They did it a couple of times, but Pope John was smart enough to kick the ball back up top, then coming back inside. The big guys, I'm impressed with the big guys for Pope John. They actually have gotten most of the fast break points because they're simply running the floor. As soon as Fenway's shot goes up and Pope John gets the rebound, the big guys are gone. One big guy get the rebound, the other one's running the lane, and that's gotten them a lot of points. So, in terms of your question, I mean, you got to double team, you got to, reach, you got to box out a lot better, and then, like Bruce said, you got to be willing to take some charges.
Right, we'll see if Fenway can make those adjustments here at the half. We'll also see if Pope John can continue their offensive success as we get you ready to start for the third quarter. And now it's halftime here at Malden. We'll be right back with the third quarter here on Game of the Week right after these words. Don't go away.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do?
Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. It's gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
With the groove, show move, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Ayo, step it swiftly with me, keep up. If not, just stop, pop a spot, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spelling bee. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch, a jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat, cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack, cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Oh, thank you. Did you see anyone's broccoli? You moved it? Thanks for helping us. No problem. Is this strawberries? You're welcome.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Bayrd Natatorium in Malden, home of the Mystic Valley Eagles, as the Pope John Tigers lead the Fenway Panthers 39-34. We're just about ready to start the third quarter here in Malden, but first up, we're going to take a look at the halftime stats here at the Boys North Division 4 Sectional Semifinals, and first it's the Fenway Panthers.
You see Fenway, Swetman with 8, Cuevas with 7. Both those guys are in the locker room now, disappointed at those low numbers for the first half. Rebounds, Cuevas has 5, Swetman with 3. Then assists, Swetman has 5, and Cuevas with 2. The big guys for Fenway have got to get on the stat sheet somehow.
Yeah, you get your 2 guards and the rebounding
Right,
spot.
everything, you're right.
Let's take a look at Pope John's halftime stats.
Well, Pope John doing what they want. Boyer, the big fella inside. A lot of those entry passes from Prince Espada, who also had 13 points himself. Erickson with 5 rebounds, Boyer with 4. Then the assist, Collins did a really good job of distributing the ball. 7 assists in that first half. And then Thompson also had 3, so 10 between those 2 guys. So, like we said, unselfish team. Whoever's open up here, Pope John's will get the ball with the idea that we want some type of an attempt on the baseline. They've done plenty of those, and they've missed some easy ones, but most of them they've made. Like we said, they were up by as many as 13 at one point.
That's right.
Fenway had to really claw their way back.
And the player who's benefited most from those baseline openings has been
the big fella,
Marcus Boyer.
It's interesting. Pope John does not have the heights listed on the roster, but Boyer's got to be 6'4", 6'5", or so. In good hands. You like the way he uses those shoulders inside. Second chance opportunity right there. But also what I like is he would run the floor pretty well in that first half. But Fenway has to figure something out. Jackson, the only true big man for Fenway as a starter, the junior, 3 fouls. And so obviously he's disappointed. The team knows they need him. He knows that they need him. So you don't know if he's going to be tentative or if he's just going to go play strong, because they've got to have some kind of answer for Boyer.
No question. And you saw when Jackson went in there, he was able to get it and one. He was starting to get going again, and then all of a sudden that foul happened quick.
Exactly. Got posted up. He was in there less than a minute. You're right.
Without question. So we'll see what kind of adjustments that the Fenway Panthers can make. And we saw Sweatman and Cuevas take a lot of shots. But we were wondering, Damian Barbosa.
I was just going to say, he's got
to get some looks.
The only thing I noticed about him, he was on the wing, and I think he was just a little too far out. So by the time the ball swung around to him, he just wasn't in his shooting range. He did hit 1 3, but if he just needs to understand that when the ball goes opposite his side, he needs to step into his shooting range, so when it does swing back, he's ready to lock and load.
So Fenway, who closed the half on a 6-0 run, now just about ready to start the third quarter. They will start it with the basketball. And you talk about Barbosa. We saw him in that game against Cash in their home gym where he struggled in the first half offensively. Then sort of mid to late third quarter, he came alive.
Yeah, very good, very nice streak.
And that pass quickly poked away by Cuevas.
And a few times Fenway's actually got a hand on that entry pass.
Price Espada that time was short with it. Sweatman comes away with the rebound. Devontae.
Got to find Cuevas.
Nunez back in there for Fenway. Now it's Francis losing it on the way up. And that's going to be a traveling violation. He had a pass to himself, essentially.
Seeing Fenway stay in the straight man-to-man, but they're trying to help out as you get the sophomore playing against Boyer right now.
Collins on the drive was blocked.
Yeah, Boyer wants to come to the baseline.
Cuevas on the drive, gets the basket and one for the Panthers.
That's an important shot for them, Pat. It's one of the few times we've seen Fenway drive right at the big fellas and score. Watch this, beats one on the wing, and then Boyer actually with a little body contact there on the shot.
And Cuevas completes the three-point play. Back to a 2-point ball game here with just 50 seconds gone by in the third quarter. Another 9-0 run from the Fenway Panthers. Thompson can't score off the window. Tap in, no good for Michael Thompson, and now it's Sweatman with the rebound.
They'll find Cuevas.
Cuevas thought about a three, now inside
Nice
to
pass.
Francis,
Nice
back to
pass.
Cuevas. Several of the Fenway Panthers just don't seem to be ready for those passes
Well,
inside.
that's exactly what happened.
Barbosa gets an open look.
You can live with that, though. You swing to the weak side. If you're wide open, you got to take that shot.
Price Espada, no good on the three. Put back from Velasquez, no good.
See, now we're seeing the guards for Fenway go down and help out in the baseline for the rebounding. Barbosa.
Sweatman pull-up jumper is good.
That looked like it rolled off his hand.
Devontae ties it up at 39. Price Espada now back up top to Thompson. Thompson gets it knocked away. Fenway trying to get the lead for the first time since the first quarter.
Without Jackson out there, you got a backup, 2 backup players in there.
That's stolen away by Collins. Collins all the way in, lefty lane no good, tap in no good from Price Espada. Nunez off the spin move. Can't get it to go for Fenway. Here comes Thompson trying to go coast to coast. Michael Thompson no good. Tap in no good from Price Espada that second time. Now Fenway going to slow it up.
The energy from Fenway is keeping them in this half. I mean, they've come all the way back to tie the game, but they've missed some very good opportunities.
Sweatman on the drive. Fenway's got a 2-point lead. Off the spin move. Somehow that went in for Price
like you
Espada.
said, that's a 360 that time.
Sweatman again down the other end. Couldn't get that one to go. That's going to stay with Fenway. And they're going to change the call. That goes back to Pope John. I thought that went off of Francis.
Now let's see how Pope John responds now. To Fenway's come all the way back from a 13-point deficit. And this has just been all about energy on the defensive end and Sweatman on the offensive end.
Almost thrown away by Cuevas. They swing it around to Thompson.
Good job. Good job that time. Like the sophomore, use his body.
Cuevas, coast to coast. Collins now going to slow it up for Pope John midway through the third quarter. Deep three for Angel Price.
See, that's the matchup, Pat. That's the matchup because Cuevas, we have Sweatman doing so much offensively for Fenway. He has to defend defensively. I'm telling you, see it? Again, nice pass, but Francis is just having a tough time out there.
Price Espada feeling it. That time it doesn't roll. And now Boyer going to head to the free throw line.
You know, you always ask the question, when do you go back to the starter? I mean, Jackson sitting there anxious as anything. Oh, look at Boyer. Wow, nice traffic rebound. And we're winding down, 3:49 to get here in the third quarter. But you really got to think about getting Jackson back in there.
Boyer no good on the first.
Well, unless as a coach you don't, if the Silver feels like, well, it's tricky because he's so aggressive, you could easily get 2 quick fouls, and you don't want that.
Boyer knocks down the second. Yeah, if you're Coach DeSilva, do you try to just kind of hold on for the rest of the quarter?
That's exactly what you're doing.
And then in the fourth, they send Jackson in?
6-0 run for Pope John gives them a 4-point lead.
Inside, Francis, nice up move. That time he couldn't finish the layup. Did everything but finish it.
Travel there, yeah.
Price Espada shuffling his feet. .318 left to go here in the third quarter. 4-point lead for the Pope John Tigers. Cuevas on the drive. What a oh, it didn't go down.
Yeah, I thought it was going from our angle. I thought it was going to drop in.
Thought that was easily in for Cuevas. Thompson can't hit the floater. Again, it's Boyer.
Yeah. You got to come with somebody. You're going to have a big body somewhere. You got to. Because Boyer's just having his way underneath. See how he slides inside.
And this time, Marcus hits the first. Substitution for Fenway as Nunez and Jonathan Barnes come back in for the Panthers. Santana and Devontae Sweatman head to the bench.
Yeah, Sweatman won't be out long, but I think they're trying to instruct him to do something maybe differently. If they stay with the man, they might take him off of off price Espada.
Second free throw, no good that time from Boyer, so still a 5-point game.
So Cuevas is now the guy offensively now that Sweatman's on the bench.
Cuevas, nowhere to go with that shot. He gets his own miss, and the ball is kicked. It'll stay with Fenway, and the Panthers will also get a fresh shot clock.
Get Bob Bozer out there. If he can slide.
Francis gets a shot blocked. Francis now over to Nunez. Banks. Couldn't put that finger roll home. Thompson with the rebound. Angel Price Espada over to Velasquez. Now back up top. Thompson inside to Velasquez.
Yeah, Brewster Silva wanting a 3-second violation on that one. You have to take a timeout. This is a very frustrating last 2.5 minutes for his team. Fenway took a lead briefly, 41-39, and now we've seen
another 9-0 run.
9-0 run for the Tigers, right?
And again, that baseline big man.
The whole game.
It continues to be open.
That's what's been the entire game. Bruce talking to one of the officials now. He wants that 3-second call because a couple of times with the extra pass, it did appear that one of the big guys for Pope John may not have gotten out of the lane, but they move the ball so well. It's like the officials, they're watching the ball, they're watching off the ball, and that's very easy to miss because once the ball moves, you move and watch, and before you know it, they're going for a layup.
Pope John coming in at 20-1. 19-1 regular season. Their one blemish to O'Brien in their second game of the year.
That means they've run off 18 in a row.
That's right. If you include the state tournament, it's 19 in a row.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you can certainly see why. And as we've been saying all night long, I mean, Price's spot is clearly the number one scorer, but the whole team just shares the ball so well.
Everybody sort of has their place or their way to score, and the teammates find it. That's what's most impressive.
Yeah, you look back at some of their scores and box scores from earlier in the year, and 1 week it's Price Espada with 20 points, the next week it's Boyer with 20 points, the next week it's Thompson with 19 points. Everybody gets a touch for this Pope John Tigers team. Another turnover for Fenway.
Unforced turnover there.
Erickson on the drive, gets it knocked away by Francis. Here comes Sweatman, quickly up to Banks. Banks shot's blocked. Price Espada off the up fake. What a feed inside of Velasquez.
Yeah, no look, drop down. And his teammates know. Just because he's not looking at me, it doesn't mean the ball's not coming. Back to a 9-point game. Boy, you got Fenway stuck on 41 for a few minutes here.
Nunez trying to create some action as Thompson saves it
by Thompson
for the Pope John Tigers.
Try to wipe us out.
Here comes Sweatman back down the other end, and he gets fouled on his way to the basket.
All quickness on that one. You got to force the action. There you go. Quick foul by both guys, actually reaching in. You're making a good point about the Pope John ability to score. Okay, they've won. They had a high of 98 points in one win. Then they had another game where they had 59 points in a win. So it's whatever style you play, they can adjust to it.
Sweatman knocks down the first free throw. Well, you talked about before how well their bigs run. If you have good size, you can play that half-court set-up style, and then if your big guys can run, you can fly up and down the floor as well.
Right, and with the knowledge that if I beat the defense, I'm going to get the ball. So just be ready to receive it.
Collins, corner three, no good. Sweatman tries a runner. And it's pulled away by Collins. He's trying to go coast to coast. And
foul from behind.
Collins
Yeah, I think
gets
Nunez
fouled.
done from behind. The other thing is, the big fellas for Pope John, they do a good job of getting block shots. None of them are in foul trouble. None of the big guys are in foul trouble because they time things well. They box out.
Yeah, Pope John right now with 6 blocks in just this quarter. Kai Collins down at the free throw line, still looking for his first points. And he's not going to get it on that first free throw. Coach Boucher not happy. Pope John now just 4 for 8 from the free throw line. One of the few things they have not done well today.
Wow.
Collins 0 for 2. 30 seconds left to go here in the third. Nunez fouled at the top of the key.
Talking about the fourth quarter, you just got to hope for Fenway that Jackson isn't just stiff or.
Barbosa there for the putback for Fenway. Stumbled into that loose ball. 5-point lead for Pope John. Bryce Espada just buries the 3 at the top of the key. That was a big shot. That gets it back to an 8-point lead. And Fenway just doesn't even get a shot off at the end of the quarter. So after 3, here at Bayrd Natatorium in Malden, Pope John Tigers with an 8-point lead. Look at that beautiful feed from Angel Bryce Espada. We'll be right back with the fourth quarter after this.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just gotta
trying as
try a
hard
little
as I
harder.
can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Bayrd Natatorium in Malden, home of the Mystic Valley Eagles. Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, search for Game of the Week and Facebook. Search for Game of the Week here in Boston. You can certainly follow us also on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We're just about ready to start the fourth quarter here at the Boys North Division 4 sectional semifinals. Pope John leading Fenway 53-45. Keon Jackson, who's got 3 fouls for the Panthers, now back in.
I don't think he's played more than 10 minutes, is he? Maybe 8 minutes the whole game.
And another turnover for Fenway as Collins comes away with a steal. Yeah, he came out sort of late in the first quarter and barely played in the second. Nice pass inside for Collins' first bucket. Cuevas, deep 3. Cuevas has gone quiet after putting a couple of baskets in early on.
Well, yeah, he hasn't got the ball a whole lot in that third quarter.
That's going to stay with Pope John as Thompson forced Fenway to knock it out.
Yeah, the real difference in the game overall is the foul trouble with Fenway got in too early, especially with Jackson, the main guy. And meanwhile, Pope John has not had to respond to any foul trouble at all. They've been able to keep their starters in as long as possible, as long as they want to, and then make changes as their regular rotation goes. Let's see what the they go back to Pope John. Wow.
Wide open is Velasquez.
Nunez just fell asleep totally.
$12-point lead for Pope John. Sweatman getting tied up right around the free throw line.
It looks like De Silva's complaining about some of the reaching.
Bruce got to be careful here late in the fourth quarter. They're only down 12. You give them a couple of technical free throws and possession.
All right, both coaches are being called to the table by the officials. I know it started out, I told Coach De Silva for Fenway was upset about some reaching calls that weren't called over in the first play of the quarter. There was a steal by Pope John he thought was a reaching. There seems to be a little more than that going on. Whenever you call both coaches over, there's something that either they're both saying or each one is complaining about something different.
So Sweatman going to get 2 free throws here.
A technical foul was called on someone.
So Sweatman hits both.
All right, Fenway ball.
I still don't know who the technical was.
Right, we didn't hit a. I don't think the announcer got the information, but
it must have been on one of the Pope John players, I would think.
Yeah.
So 10-point lead for Pope John. And another turnover. Here comes Price Espada. Somehow was able to get that off the window. I mean, I've said that probably 4 or 5 times tonight, but he just puts the spin on the ball. Very unique. Santana for 3, well short.
We got to bring Barbosa back in.
Price Espada, that one rattles in and out. Here comes Sweatman, flying up the floor. What a layup from Devontae Sweatman.
Yeah, timeout by Pope John.
So 6:16 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Pope John with a 10-point lead over the Fenway Panthers. And Devontae Sweatman now with 18 points, but it seems like he's
Quietly,
the only one.
Yeah, he is. He's
forcing going offensively.
He is forcing the action. And you made the point that Cuevas has been quiet. Cuevas is their leading scorer. And he's had a difficult time trying to attack from the wing. The size inside just stays patient on Pope John, and so they're ready for him. They blocked a few of his shots. I think he's only made 1 3-pointer. So it's just a frustrating night offensively. Well, for Fenway in general. I mean, they've missed at least a handful of inside shots that really would help the cause. But as that happens, then other things start to snowball. Your outside shots don't go down. Just had an air ball shot for a 3-pointer.
We also talked about how many mishandles they had down low, where they weren't even able to get a layup up.
It wasn't even a lot of pressure. I mean, just the presence of the size inside, you think about, especially when you've had so many shots blocked, you think about it before you even attempt your shot. That's what we're seeing Fenway do.
Fenway only with 2 threes knocked down all game long.
I'll tell you, I'm surprised. They even have 49 points without the threes. I mean, they live off that. They live off the drive to the hoop, kick out. And I think Sweatman smartly at this point knows the threes aren't going. He's driving to the hoop to score.
Out of the timeout, Pope John with the basketball and a 10-point lead.
Yes, so Fenway has to go man-to-man now, so they actually have Jackson playing one of the forwards.
Jason Ford in for the first time. He's a freshman for the Tigers. Thompson got it poked away. Barbosa quickly up to Cuevas. Layup no good. It's knocked out of bounds off of Sweatman, so that'll go back to the Pope John Tigers.
That's the frustration we talk about with Cuevas. That's usually an easy hoop for him.
Velasquez on the drive. Barboza deep three. Way off the mark. Jackson trying to save it, but he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, it's very tough trying to shoot three-pointers when you know you have to have them. You start aiming the ball, and a lot of times they're short or long.
Marcus Boyer now back in for Pope John. Ford off the handoff. Dipsy-do no good. Rebound comes down to Jackson. Now it's Cuevas. A 1-on-3 fast break. He gets the basket and the foul for the Panthers.
Oh, you got 5:08 to go. That's a big hoop for Fenway. Nice body control to spin it home.
Cuevas with 12 points now. Only 5 in the second half. And he's called for the shove. That might be 4 on Melvin Cuevas.
Yeah, he's just had a frustrating night all around. There's a nice finish right there, but defensively, it's only his third, but it's being forced to play pressure man-to-man is so tiring, even for high school kids. A lot of times you don't have anything left for offense.
Thompson working at the top. Now it's Collins looking for some
Travel
real estate
there,
inside. Yeah, he shuffled his feet.
One of the few times, because actually the pass was there, he just didn't make the pass.
Fenway still hanging around, down by 8, just under 5 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, somebody's got to hit a 3.
Cuevas. Barbosa lines up a 3 and buries it.
Yeah.
Cuts it down to 5 here with 4.5 minutes left to go. Bryce Espada.
Spinning.
I don't know what else to say.
That's his specialty.
He has so many different ways to hit shots inside. Jackson over to Nunez, and he scores off the window. Bryce Espada again. This time he gets tripped up right around the top of the key. That could be that'll be number 4 on Cuevas.
On Cuevas? Yeah.
So that's 4 fouls on Melvin Cuevas.
Well, not bonus yet.
Bryce Espada, corner 3. Rattles out, hits the backboard, and goes back in. A quick foul inside.
Somehow
there.
his jersey's gotten torn in the front. I'm not sure how that happened, but.
Espada now with 26 points to lead all scorers.
And a tearaway jersey, right?
Yeah, is that an Earl Campbell jersey
yeah,
he's got going on there? Sweatman hits the first. Devontae 2 for 2 from the stripe. 20 points now for Devontae Sweatman. Fenway still down by just 6.
The first time they've seen him double him.
And it's going to be a turnover by Bryce Espada.
Well, if Fenway gets a 3 here, and then we get something going. Watch Barbosa. You got to step in. Yeah, he's staying too far away.
Banks on the runner, no good. Jackson put back, no good.
Yeah, that's what they've missed all game. Jackson with that, that offensive rebound.
So Banks whistled for the foul after Thompson was able to gather.
That's going to. Full court pressure.
That goes off of Pope John, so back to Fenway. So Pope John with a couple of bad turnovers.
Well, whenever the ball's not in Sparta's hands, they have problems.
And like all game long, Fenway just hasn't been able to capitalize. Sweatman no good. Put back from Santana no good. Thompson wide open, scores the layup and the foul. Michael Thompson.
Really bad turnaround for Fenway. Miss an easy, what appeared to be an easy layup, and you see Barbosa complaining that it wasn't in contact, but they called for the foul.
Thompson looking to complete the three-point play. He cannot. Pope John continues to struggle at the free throw line. And Coach De Silva calls a timeout here with 2:54 left to go in the fourth quarter. 8-point lead for the Pope John Tigers. Let's get another look at the Thompson finish. And I didn't see any contact there.
Might be right. He might have missed him.
But Fenway still down by just 8. Still hanging around here with 2:54 left to go. Our sideline reporter John Skudras has got an update for us. John?
The winner of this game will head on to the sectional final to take on the Austin Prep Cougars, who defeated Mystic Valley, the host venue for this event, yesterday in the sectional semifinal. If it is Pope John, they'll be a familiar foe, as they have played the Cougars twice this year, once at home, once on the road. At home right here, they beat Austin Prep by 20, 59-39, and then on the road in February they beat Austin Prep by only 4 points. So they're looking to go 3-0 and advancing to the Final Four. If they can, it'll be a momentous achievement in the first year of Leo Boucher. Thank you, and back to you.
Thanks very much, John. Looking ahead, what kind of teams either of these teams would face if they were to advance. Well, over the last couple,
the field whittles down every night, right? This game's going on. The games all the way through the weekend.
That's right.
Weekend, right.
That's right. All the sectional finals will be on Friday and Saturday. Fun time of year. Also pressure packs. Here's Damian Barbosa, who can't hit that. Sweatman can't score off the backboard. Jackson gets fouled.
Boy, Jackson makes such a difference. I mean, just keeping the ball alive. That's the second offensive rebound in as many trips. You see Sweatman, watch Jackson. Good timing. Quietly, we had a really good game for Pope John. Thompson. We talked about, obviously, the outside scoring of Price and Sparta. But Thompson, a bunch of rebounds, bunch of assists. I mean, his scoring is sort of secondary. But coming into it again, let's go back to the fact that he's one of the kids who came over.
That's right.
And
Coach Boucher actually mentioned Thompson used to average about 17 points a game last season for St. Clement. Came to Pope John and
dropped down to about 12, right?
That's right. Yeah. Like many other players on the team, he's had to sort of, put his scoring in the back burner and do everything else.
Other things, isn't that? That's exactly what he's done tonight.
Yeah, Thompson right now.
He's so long. Thompson's so long. He has a really nice step to he only goes right, but he has a nice step. And like I said, he can beat you because he has that length with his arms and on his first step. It's just as good as being quick.
And you see Thompson right there. You know, he's a small forward, but you know, as
Good
he
size.
almost crashed into our table here. I mean,
and
he's
he apologized.
Big. He's big, yeah.
He's a polite kid too.
You know, they got the transition offense going the other way, and he's apologizing to us. But yeah, just a big, small forward for this Pope John team, and he's doing a little bit of everything here tonight. He's got 10 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, and 6 steals.
Well, you can't have a more impressive line than that. I'm telling you, especially when you're talking about a sectional semifinal. This is. And like I said, to me, it's almost quiet because you know he's not doing any really fancy moves like we were watching Price and Spada.
Right.
Very basic. Made those 14 assists, 14 rebounds.
14 rebounds, 6 assists.
That's amazing.
Only 6 assists. That goes back out to Price and Spada off of the missed free throw. And a good steal there from Sweatman. Devontae off the hesitation. You know that young guy's not going to give up.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, you talk about someone who's trying to keep his team in it.
Trying to stay with Price and Spada. Now it's Barbosa. Collins off the window. So many guys to account for on this Pope John team. Sweatman unable to score inside. Rebound comes down to Thompson.
Well, the other thing about Sweatman, we talked about that, he's only a sophomore.
Yeah. He's going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years. This Fenway team overall is pretty young. I mean, you got Barbosa. They're certainly going to miss him. Cornell Mills, who's got some size inside. Everybody else is a junior or younger. So you'll have Sweatman back. You'll have Cuevas back. You'll have Keon Jackson back. Santana back. As Price of Spada knocks down that first free throw. Fenway, if they are unable to complete the comeback here today, they could be right back in this spot next year.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, I think that one of the good things from a coach's standpoint of losing a game like this is that the young players understand exactly what went wrong and what, you know, they weren't able to accomplish.
And they're going to say that's off of Sweatman. Coming up on 1:30 left to go here in the fourth quarter. 9-point lead for the Pope John Tigers. And now they're just going to slow it up.
Kill clock.
Never mind. Velasquez off the spin move. Somehow got that one to go. Barbosa on the other end forcing the action.
Barbosa trying to catch Pope John, not getting back on defense. Lost his 360. Actually, he was looking for a foul, so he just decided to throw it up.
Kind of threw it up there and put some spin on it.
Yeah, they all count.
Channeling his inner Angel Price of Spada.
You were talking about Fenway and Pope John. Okay, Price of Spada is only a junior. Okay, you got Velasquez is a junior. There are some players who will be coming back. I mean, obviously, a couple of your main guys, the seniors, will be leaving, but still, a lot of times it's the program and the system that allows young players to develop from year to year. And just like we said, okay, for Fenway, big kid Francis, he's only a sophomore. He had a tough game tonight, but he has a big body. He does have some skills. He rebounded pretty well.
Right.
He's had a tough time trying to convert some hoops underneath. But we worked with him over the summer.
Keon Jackson going to come out for
they got a steal.
Fenway.
They got a foul rather. So he. A timeout by Pope John.
Fenway calls a timeout.
I tell you, there's so many so many areas that Bruce DeSilva and his coaches can work on for this one. I mean, they had a tough time the players had a tough time adjusting to that zone. It's a simple 2-3 zone in the half court, and they just kept trying to force that pass to the foul line. They had more of them stolen than they actually converted. So that's one thing. And then what that does, it allows Pope John, you get to steal the ball between the foul line and the three-point line. Okay, you're off and running, especially with a guy like Price Espada, who can finish or he can pass. So if he has a teammate running with him, he'll make the pass. If not, he'll find a way to get by the defender and finish. And, of course, we talked earlier about their lack of three-point shooting. Fenway, for the most part, in games, in tight games they've had, their shooting at some point came on. Cuevas just had a very tough offensive night. You had to have a lot more from him. Sweatman did
basically what he does.
Right.
And Barbosa had a tough time trying to knock down anything from the outside. So your two best three-point shooters just really weren't able to get it done.
Right. If you don't have that and you're always behind, think about it. The one time they went ahead 41-39, then they give up a 9-point run.
Right. And sometimes shooting can sort of break the ice in one of those runs and kind of break it up early.
There you go. Okay, Barbosa's going to swing around for a 3 on this inbound. If they can get it to him.
Sweatman, dipsy-do, gets it to go. Now Fenway calls a timeout.
Yeah, play it to the end. Got to play it to the end. I mean, you're going to do the same thing, full court pressure. If you don't get the steal, watch Sweatman. Nice spin move again. We talked about these kids being able to split the defense and bank them home. Yeah, play it. You got to play it out, and you're going to go full pressure.
You're also looking at it like Pope John has not been good from the free throw line tonight.
Well,
so you foul them, there's a good chance they're going to miss at least one.
Right, and then that gives you a chance to come down. But again, you got to take it. You know, when it gets under a minute, you got to start jacking up threes, and they just haven't had much luck at all with the three-point shooting tonight.
Coming out of the timeout, 9-point lead for the Pope John Tigers, 1:09 left to go. They get into Angel Price Espada. He dribbles through traffic, gets the basket, and one.
I don't know what Nunes was doing. He should have fouled right out there at half court. I mean, Cuevas was the other guy double team, but they had Cuevas has 4. See right here. That's Barbosa.
And that gives Price Espada 30 points on the night. Make that 31 for the Pope John Jr.
Yeah, he's actually from Cambridge.
Banks knocks down the 3. Or Barnes, rather. Fenway with the timeout, just under a minute left to go here in the fourth now.
Again, we talked about how you see Banks stepping back to that three-pointer. One of the few for Fenway, unfortunately, tonight. The difficult thing for coaches is most coaches will tell you, okay, if you get beat by a better team, that's sports. But you just hate to lose an elimination game when such a big part of your game just wasn't on. And their three-point shooting just didn't help them. Obviously, Jackson seeing so much of the game with foul trouble was a big issue too. But this Fenway team is used to driving to the basket with Cuevas and with Sweatman. They're also used to driving and kicking out to get wide open shots, which they usually can make. Or at least make a good enough percentage to stay in the game. And tonight it just didn't happen.
Yeah, and Pope John's first round game against Winthrop, they actually did not play very well. Coach Boucher mentioned
that's a 4-point game.
That's right. They didn't shoot very well. They came out kind of lethargic. They said Winthrop came out flying offensively. But they were able to kind of weather the storm and were able to get putbacks and rebounds down the stretch.
I was just going to say, with big guys who play that well, you can pretty much.
Speaking of big guys that can play well, Marcus Boyer there for the putback.
That's been all game.
Barnes with a runner. And Boyer just quietly just gets in there, rebound, putback.
And he hustles back, and he hustles back to the other end. Get to the baseline to challenge the shot.
Boyer now with 17 points and 12 boards. As Barnes is able to knock down the first. Keon Jackson going to come back in for Fenway. As Nunez takes a seat.
Boy, think about Jackson. 2 quick fouls in that first quarter.
Changed the game.
Changed the whole game for him, definitely.
So as John Scudris said, the winner of this game, which will be Pope John, they will play Austin Prep in the sectional finals Friday night up in Tewksbury. The last couple of years, it's been the St. Mary's boys basketball program that's sort of owned this bracket. But this year,
new faces, right?
New faces, exactly. this Pope John team, who's got some former St. Clement players, has captured the #1 seed. Fenway actually last year got into the tournament, but then didn't win their first round game. So this is the first year they've won a state tournament game in a while. So you see the steps that this Fenway program is taking. I just think they're certainly going to be
2 years ago they won 6 games.
That's right.
And last year they had, they won 15. So you're right. And they were a 4 seed in the bracket. Like we both talked about a number of times, sophomores and juniors coming back. Key is the kids got to decide they're going to work together during the off season and try to improve some of the areas that they were lacking. That's the key to the whole thing, because it's great to have sophomores and juniors, and in some cases freshmen, but if they're not going to work hard and try to stick together, then you'll reach a point of success and really not exceed that. We've seen that plenty of times.
Sure.
And that's the real challenge with coaching. Get the kids to really commit to doing their off-season work.
Pope John is trying to kill the clock here. Sweatman goes back down the other end with a layup, and Fenway calls another timeout. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game here, 19.8 left.
Well, now they'll foul. This time that was
now they're fouled,
quickness.
And they have to shoot a 3 the next time down the floor.
Yeah.
They absolutely have to.
So I think that we talk about it because the way the state tournament is set up, it is exciting. There's you see Sweatman finishing off this layup. It is exciting that so many teams get in, but it's just tough as you lose. Every night there's a handful of teams that get knocked out. And it happens in all kinds of different ways. This game looked like it was in full control by Pope John, but a little lackadaisical play by some of their players with their passes has allowed Fenway to cut this down to 6 points.
Well, you've talked about many times before, too, Alan, how difficult it is to advance in the tournament because of the foreign gyms.
It's
because
tough.
of the teams that you don't play during the regular season. You really don't know them very well.
Not at all. I mean, the scouting is almost impossible. And the little bit you can do, you try to translate that into your practice to try to tell the kids, and sometimes you create a lot of confusion. So it might end up, let's go back to what we know how to do.
Yeah, that's funny. When we covered Madison Park in the preliminary round, Dennis Wilson said that exact thing. He said, in the past, I've heading into the tournament, you got more practice time. You try to throw some new wrinkles in there. And then he said, once the games get going, the guys forget what they learned over the past week. And
Overthinking it.
He said, now I'm just going to run our stuff.
Go back to the regular stuff.
Yeah, I'm just going to run our stuff.
Forget what I said in the locker room. Just blank it all out.
Yeah.
So that's, But, hey, it's fun. Pope John, okay, they're going to move on. And a team that they've already beaten a couple of times this season.
Boyer knocking down the first.
Outstanding play. This one is tough. You got
Boyer.
You got the spotter. You got Thompson. I mean, these guys, they all share the ball so well.
Boyer misses the second. And it's going to stay with Fenway. Boyer heading to Clarkson University next season.
Oh yeah, he'll be a nice college player.
Barboza deep three, and that's not going to go down. Jackson going to try for the putback, blocked inside by Boyer. And the Pope John Tigers are going to be moving on. They're headed to the sectional finals here in the boys North Division 4. They take down Fenway 78-71 here in Malden. And you can just see why this Pope John team was the #1 seed.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I remember we talked to Brewster Silva before the game, and he was saying the size is obviously the issue. He decided to sort of roll the dice and just go straight man to man. Unfortunately, they got Jackson with the 2 quick fouls, his only really big, quality big man. He had to sit for so long that allowed Pope John to really take control of the game.
That's right.
Price Espada with his acrobatic shots, his 3-point shooting, and just as importantly, his assists. He has some of those assists that get the crowd excited, get his teammates excited, reward his big men with some layups. Right?
Yeah, that's why they run the floor so well. They know he can find
That's
them.
exactly true, and so it's unfortunate, but again, you get one shot, you only move on if you win, and now Pope John is, what they got now, 21 wins now? So it's a good season for them. Let's see how far they can go.
Yeah, 20 straight now for the Pope John Tigers as they defeat Fenway in the sectional semifinals. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we will have our Game of the Week MVP, our game-winning coach, and our final stats here from Mystic Valley right after these words. Don't go away.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
got a quarter.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish. In your face, in your face.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Oh, thank you. Did you see anyone's broccoli? You moved this? Thanks for helping us. No problem. You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Bayrd Natatorium in Malden. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the Pope John Tigers have advanced to the Boys North Division 4 Sectional Finals. And throughout the entire game, we've been talking about how unselfish and how well this Pope John team spreads the ball around. And especially, we talk about Michael Thompson and how Coach Boucher even said it. He could probably score 20 points a game.
Oh, easily.
If
You see
he
his
got
skills.
more shots up.
Yeah.
But, you know, tonight we saw exactly what kind of player he is. He kind of puts the offense, or at least the points, on the back burner. And, you know, he had only 10 points tonight, but he had 16 rebounds. He had, you know, a bunch of blocks, a bunch of steals, a bunch of assists. I mean, he's done a little bit of everything for this team tonight, and that's why he is the player of the game for us tonight. He is with our sideline reporter, John Skudras. So, John, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Here after the game with the winning coach, Pope John head coach Leo Boucher, as well as our MVP here on the BNN, Michael Thompson. And, Michael, what a performance you had. I have the official tally: 10 points, 16 boards, 7 assists, 5 blocks, and 6 steals. That's a stat line that would make any basketball player proud. This was a special season for you guys, since it was your first year at Pope John, having come over from St. Clement. What was that like, coming together as a team from the very beginning, and how did you guys help each other with the transition?
At the beginning, we were struggling, but we had a point guard, Makai Collins. He's really reeled the team in together. We still have our ups and downs as a team, but we're starting to come together, and we just got to start playing better and playing as a team if we want to win it all.
On to the sectional final against Austin Prep, a team you guys have already played twice this year, handled them pretty well once, and then a tight nail-biter at their place once. What do you know about Austin Prep, and what should we expect in that game?
Well, it's not easy to beat a team 3 times, so we're just going to come out, try our best, and hopefully we end up on top.
Wise words. Now, as for today's game, a very emotional performance for both teams. You guys, in that second half, showed a lot of fire and holding off what was a very game Fenway team, I think. What went into the preparation for this game, and how proud are you of your team?
Coach just prepared us. He told us everything that they were going to do, and he was right, and he gave us offensive sets that worked against them, and that's all you can ask for from a coach.
How happy are you right now?
I'm real happy.
Best of luck. Best of luck, Michael. Thank you. Bring in Coach Boucher here. And, Coach, just like I said to him, emotional game today. We saw you very animated there on the bench. After you've gotten a chance to breathe, just, you know, talk about the game today and how proud you are of your boys.
Very proud of them. They were resilient. They hung in there against a great basketball team. It's what we expected. I mean, they're a quick team, athletic. We knew they were going to defend. We knew they were going to double. We knew Sweatman was going to give us headaches, and I was disappointed in our ball handling. I was disappointed with the number of turnovers. We had 12 turnovers in the second quarter. It was awful. But these kids have always dug out of the hole. They've always come back. They've always stuck together, and I think it was just a matter of them having a bigger heart at the end of the game, and that's ultimately what we're looking to do.
20 consecutive victories now here in 2017-18, looking to make it 21-22 and maybe 23 to win the state championship. You came over last summer. You didn't know you were ever going to coach again after St. Clement closed. How, now looking back on it, how surreal is it that here you are, 1 win away from the Final Four?
Well, there were a lot of ironic things that happened. I mean, we beat Dave Sacco's team from Winthrop, who's a Pope John alum, kid I care very deeply about. He's a great basketball coach and a great friend. But there were so many different connections. My kids coming over from St. Clement. One of the prevailing factors for me was the fact that I think my kids needed to transition properly. And I was hoping that I could be part of that transition for them personally more than basketball. You know, I love my kids. My kids are great. You know, if you coach long enough, your kids actually become your kids. A lot of my alumni players from St. Clement are here. I've got alumni players here from Cathedral when I coached there. And it's just an honor to be in this profession, and it's an honor to be surrounded by great young people. So that's ultimately what we're dealing with.
Absolutely. 20 consecutive wins, 2 of those coming, or 19 now, 20, 2 of those coming against Austin Prep. The Cougars are your next matchup coming up in a couple of days. What do you know about them, and how tough is it going to be to beat them a third time?
It's tough to beat anybody a third time. They're a really tough team to game plan for. Steve Reddy, their guard, is a phenomenal shooter. We have to get in his face. We didn't match with the shooters particularly well tonight. I was very disappointed in that. The one thing we did tonight was rebound. You need to rebound against Austin Prep. Their bigs are very, very qualified offensive rebounders. If we can keep them off the glass and control the tempo of play, we should be okay.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Next time and beyond. That's Coach Leo Boucher here on the Boston Neighborhood Network post-game show as Pope John advances to the sectional final in the 2018 MIAA state playoffs. That's it from courtside. Now back to Pat and Allen.
John, thanks very much. You see Coach Boucher, and I thought that was interesting that he became the coach at Pope John because he wanted to help his guys from St. Clement transition school-wise, basketball-wise, life-wise. That was one of the biggest reasons, and I think that's important. It shows you how much a lot of these coaches, because we know how much Coach De Silva cares about his kids, you know, guys like Dennis Wilson, Edson Cardo. I mean, all these coaches just have this personal connection and personal responsibility for these kids,
no doubt.
That's why they're such special guys.
Oh, yeah, it definitely extends off the court, no doubt about that. In terms of school, classroom, doing your work, trying to stay out of trouble. Okay, we had a situation with Cathedral where a couple of the kids were suspended for some games for an incident in school. But again, you know, the coaches and this team stayed with them, and they got back and were able to continue the season. But you're right, and the coach did say he said very well that it's an honor to be coaching and to enjoy dealing with young people like this. And I think it's key. Like, okay, you talk about Thompson. He was one of the older players, so. Okay, he played for a couple of years at St. Clement. School closes. He had no control over that. All right, I got to go somewhere. Yeah. Go to Pope John's, and now he's flourishing. Really doing well. So it's good to see that, and you know, no telling how far they can go. I mean, the way they play, it's very basic. They use the big men well. The big men run the floor. Everyone rebounds. But the most important thing, the most impressive thing to me is they all pass the ball so well.
Oh, they share the ball.
They had a bunch of turnovers,
really well.
but the intent was there. I'm trying to get you an open teammate.
That's
and
right.
if they keep doing that, they are going to beat some more teams.
Sky's the limit for this team. Let's take a look at the final stats from this game here at Mystic Valley before we sign off. And first up, it's going to be the Fenway Panthers.
Now, Fenway had some lean stats at halftime, but you see Sweatman ended up at 27 points, most of that going hard to the basket. Cuevas, tough night for him. He's used to being in the 20s, but only 12 points tonight. Rebounds, Francis, the sophomore, did have 9 rebounds. Sweatman added 8. And then the assist between Sweatman and Cuevas had 9 between the two backcourt players.
Let's take a look at Pope John's final stats.
They really rang it up. There you see Prince Espada, 30 points. And it seemed like whenever Fenway tried to make a run to get the lead down to 5 or under, he made either a big shot or went to the basket and scored. Boyer, the big fella there, that we both like because he runs the floor, 19 points. Thompson, 16 rebounds. Boyer, 12 rebounds. And then the assists, Collins with 9 and Thompson with 7. So they pretty much, those stats pretty much show you what each player's contribution is. And they did it on such a high level that they really had control. It felt like they had control of the game most of the way throughout.
Sure. It didn't really seem, it wasn't like that way with the score, but the game flow and everything, that it flowed through the Pope John Tigers. I think you're absolutely right in that one, Alan. Pope John is moving on to the sectional finals here in the Boys North Division 4. This is a good game here tonight. If you want to watch it again, you can certainly go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All of the games from this season are up there. You can also follow us on Facebook. Search for Game of the Week in Boston, and make sure you like our Facebook page. A lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We got another city team falling tonight, but there's still several left. So we're going to try to cover some more state tournament games and as many as we can as the state tournament rolls on here in Massachusetts. For right now, we're going to say so long from Malden. We'll see you next time here on Game of the Week. Take care, everybody.